If you get major headaches, doctors say there are a couple of basics. You need to be conscientious about your eating habits, sleep patterns, and exercise routine. But there are some other things you can indulge in that may also help stave off the onset of migraine. Dr. Audrey Halpern is here with some incredible news for migraine and other types of headache sufferers. Dr. Halpern is the executive director of the Manhattan Center for Headache and Neurology. Now, this is a common problem, headaches regularly.
Oh, absolutely. As many as perhaps 20% of women suffer from migraines, and in fact 3% of the population suffers from chronic migraines or daily or near daily headaches.
Give us, if you can, the difference between a severe headache and a migraine.
Well, that can sometimes be a tough question. One of the myths about migraine is that it has to be a severe, debilitating headache where you might be laid out in bed, you can't move, and you're vomiting and all of those kinds of things. But migraines actually can be a little bit milder, and so some people don't realize that they're having migraine. That being said, migraine is clearly the most common form of disabling or debilitating headaches. Tension-type headaches, for instance, are much more common, but they're also much milder, and people can work through them. They can get done what they need to get done.
What you've reminded me of before, and it seems to be a common theme I'm hearing from neurologists, is if you can find a way to avoid the headache in the first place, or at least head it off when it starts, before you get started on the medications, you're better off.
Well, that's true. So there are a number of different things people can do to help prevent migraines. There are lots of lifestyle choices, in fact, that can help reduce the frequency of migraines, including things like getting enough sleep, establishing a regular sleep cycle and sleep habits, eating healthy, and exercising.
Those are the basics, and we all know we need to do them. But if you're a headache sufferer, you really need to do them. Is that what you're saying?
That's exactly correct.
Now for the fun part. I feel like it's Valentine's Day over here. We've got chocolates. What would that, you're prescribing chocolate, I hope.
I am, actually. A lot of people think that chocolate is a trigger for migraine. And for some people, it actually may be a trigger. But many more people are actually afraid of eating chocolate because they've heard that it's a trigger.
It's true. Every time I've ever looked at a list of triggers for migraine, chocolate has been on it.
That's right. And a lot of headache specialists believe that, in fact, chocolate may be what's called a prodromal craving, a food craving that people get anywhere from several hours to a day or so before a headache. It may be your body's way of actually trying to stave off a migraine.
Isn't that interesting? And what is it about chocolate that might be helpful to migraine sufferers?
Well, that's not entirely clear. We now know that chocolate contains a whole host of different chemicals that may be very healthy, in fact, but one of them is caffeine, and we all know, and many migraine sufferers know, that caffeine actually can help take away migraine pain. So it may be the caffeine in the chocolate that's helping.
Okay, so caffeine could be helpful as well, maybe a strong cup of coffee.
Right, if you're not using it every day to wake yourself up in the morning.
Oh boy, there's so many rules I can hardly keep track. Here we go. We've got something that appears to be a glass of champagne, but a glass of champagne is probably not a good idea.
For many migraineurs, that's correct. Champagne can actually trigger a headache, and in fact, many different alcohols can trigger migraines for some percentage of migraine sufferers. So one of the things that you can do is actually enjoy what we call a mocktail, or something that doesn't contain alcohol. This is a champagne fouler.
This is looking delicious, and it doesn't have alcohol.
It does not have alcohol. It contains club soda, apple juice, and a little bit of lemon juice, and it really tastes like champagne, and it's quite tasty
and hydrating.
Absolutely, absolutely.
I've heard that if you're dehydrated, the headache can set in.
That's correct. So keeping yourself well hydrated is one of the things that migraineurs should do by drinking plenty of water, of course, or other healthy beverages. And in fact, drinking water before exercise is a very good idea for migraineurs as well.
Okay, a little birdie told me that you're a big proponent of a good sex life.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, there are lots of different connections between sex and migraines. So one of the things that we talked about, that healthy lifestyle with sleeping well and exercising and eating well, promotes a healthy sex life. The same things that promote decreased frequency in migraines. So a healthy sex life is indicative of somebody who may get fewer migraines.
What is going on when people have sex that might help?
Well, that's interesting too. There may be several mechanisms, but we know that after an orgasm there can be a release of endorphins, and this may be pain relieving. There was one study done several years ago in which migraineurs actually chose to take part in sexual intercourse, and the study revealed that they actually had decreased pain after orgasm. So it may indeed have a pain relieving effect.
Temporarily or long term?
Temporarily for that particular migraine. But of course you have to get over your fear of engaging in intimate encounters during a migraine.
I think people with a headache are afraid to get the blood going in anyway.
That's right. During a migraine, people often don't want to be touched. They don't want to move. So you have to get over that in order to benefit.
That's excellent advice. Thank you so much, Dr. Halpern. Ahead, a breakdown of the spring allergy season. Spring hasn't officially arrived, but seasonal allergy symptoms are already flaring for some.